Yo, 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 what is up, y'all? It's Cone back here again tonight with another episode of After the Buzzer, the show where I recap the NBA games from the night. Now, first of all, yeah, this isn't my normal setup, not my normal background. It kind of looks like I'm in a basement, which, yes, I am in a basement, but basically, I'm out of town visiting my girlfriend, and so I'm not my usual setup, but I had to get y'all this recap for Game 5 of the NBA Finals that, in my opinion, and I hope the opinions and thoughts of every basketball fan in the world, will go down as the Andrew Wiggins game. This game was incredible from A. Wiggs. Last game, the Warriors had the Steph Curry game. In Game 4, he dropped 43 points, his second highest career playoff total, drilled a ton of threes. He was going crazy, and rightfully so. He got a ton of attention for it because he deserved it. It was a historic, dominant level performance in an NBA Finals game on the biggest stage where they're up against a potential 3-1 deficit, and he put his team on his back for the most part and brought them to a win. But in the background, in the shadows, Andrew Wiggins put up a double-double, a career high in rebounds, a great scoring output, and this whole series has played phenomenal defense on Jason Tatum. He's had Jason Tatum on Wiggins Island for a lot of this series. And so coming into tonight's game, Andrew Wiggins is someone who I continue to look at as an X factor in this series. The Warriors have gone small, and over the last two games when they've started Otto Porter instead of Kevon Looney, they have asked Andrew Wiggins to attack the boards, be a physical force down low, and just kind of be a bigger presence than he really is height-wise, and he has paid them back immensely. It has paid off so big for the Golden State Warriors. He's one of the biggest reasons. He was the biggest reason why they won this game and the second biggest reason why they won last game. He's been so phenomenal and has completely shifted the course of this series with his amazing play. As I mentioned, grabbing rebounds. Last game, he had a double-double. Tonight, another double-double. 26 points, 13 rebounds, back-to-back double-digit games of rebounds for two-way Wiggs, center Wiggs, whatever you want to call him. He's good. And he's a guy who, and part of the reason why I root for Andrew Wiggins so hard is, one, he dominates OKC, so in my mind, he's the greatest player of all time, but also, two, he's a guy who is written off by so many people. I had a friend today, actually, in one of my group chats, say, why is Andrew Wiggins going off? Isn't this guy a bust? And that's kind of the identity that he had been given for most of his career. He'd been considered a bust as a number one overall pick in Minnesota. He was kind of a volume scorer. He scored over 20 points per game. He won Rookie of the Year, but it never really contributed to much of winning. And then ultimately he gets traded to Golden State after only ever making the playoffs once with the Minnesota Timberwolves. He was dealt to Golden State after he'd been given a max contract, and he was looked at as, oh my God, the Timberwolves are paying this guy max money to play like the way he is. And so when he got to Golden State, there were a lot of people saying like, oh, he's not going to work. This probably won't pay off. And Andrew Wiggins deserves all the credit in the world for the way that he has turned his game around. He has changed his identity. As a rookie, he was this isolation scorer, and really his whole time in Minnesota, he was this isolation scorer. He was kind of inefficient, not really much of a defender, hyper athletic, but didn't really stay in front of his guy. He came to the Golden State Warriors and they told him, we need you to be one of the best two-way players in the league. That's all we need you to do. Hit threes, be aggressive offensively, but be a little more selective, and also lock up defensively. That is what we need from you to win games. And he, without a moment of hesitation, jumped into that role immediately, and now on the biggest stage, just dominated an NBA Finals game in front of a world where a lot of people called him a bust. Andrew Wiggins, you can say a lot of things about him, but you cannot say that he's a bust. Sure, he's, as a number one overall pick, you want them to be a superstar, but he has become one of the most integral role players. He was an all-star this past year. He is an all-star, one of the best 3-and-D players in the entire National Basketball Association on the Golden State Warriors, a team that's now one win away from winning the finals in large part tonight due to his play. Tonight, Steph Curry was really mediocre, and for a finals where he has been incredibly dominant, he only put up 16 points, 3 rebounds, and 8 assists, and he didn't hit a 3 for the first time in his career in the playoffs. This is the first playoff game he didn't hit a 3, which was shocking after what we saw last game. A lot of people were like, oh, Steph, had that dominant performance in Boston. Wait till we see what he does in Golden State, and he just didn't really get the looks that he was looking for. Boston really locked and kind of focused in on Steph, and it seemed like their game plan was, the other guys can beat us, but Steph, you are not beating us. And the other guys came to play. Klay Thompson had 21 points. Draymond Green had 8, 8, and 6. He was aggressive offensively, and he was efficient. We already talked about Andrew Wiggins, 15 points from Gary Payton II, who also locked up 14 points in 14 minutes for Jordan Poole. But Wiggins, man, the way that he stepped up, he really became the focal point of their offense. They were doing whatever they could to stop Steph Curry. They were double teaming him. They were forcing the ball out of his hand. Even Klay Thompson, sometimes they were playing him really aggressively. And so Wiggins was called on from the get-go. Immediately in the first quarter, he was knocking down mid-range shots, blocking guys at the rim, going for steals. There were so many points in the fourth quarter where Jason Tatum clearly, he knew that he had to go get them a bucket. That's what he had to do, because the Celtics offense got really stale, it got really slow. Jason Tatum and the Celtics were on fire in the third quarter, which is very different for this series because we had seen the Warriors dominate third quarters. Jason Tatum, after not shooting once in the first 10 minutes of the game, came out the gate, back off the bench in the first quarter, hit 3 straight shots, and he completely caught fire, especially in the third quarter, where the Celtics started the game 0 for 12 from 3, and then hit their next 8. They were 8 of 20 after starting 0 for 12, and Jason Tatum had 4 or 5 of those, it felt like. He was making great passes, making great reads, and the Celtics took the lead. And then Andrew Wiggins comes in the game and locks it all down. He completely stops it. No matter what they did, and especially in that fourth quarter when Jason Tatum got the ball and said, "I'm going to go get us a bucket," Wiggins completely walled him off. There was one possession where there was 10 seconds left on the shot clock, and he just started to try and back down Andrew Wiggins, and he tried 3 or 4 times. Wiggins was not moving, not an inch. So Jason Tatum settled for a turnaround mid-range jumper. He airballed it. There was another possession where he took a really contested 3 on Wiggins, airballed it. Wiggins, I think, really tired him out and got him to take all these bad looks. He locked in on him defensively, and it was one of the most impressive two-way performances I've seen in the finals in a while. It was incredible to be both the best offensive and defensive player on the winning team in the same night. You don't see it very often. And for a guy, like I said, in Andrew Wiggins, who has been through a lot over the course of his career, been called a lot of things, he is the X factor in this series. And because of him, the Warriors are now 1 win away from another finals. It's crazy. The Celtics, it really felt like in the third quarter, things were turning their way again. Like I said, they were getting good looks, and they went 8 of 8 from 3 over the course of a 10, 12 minute period. They were on fire. It felt like they couldn't miss. And then they missed one, but then made the next one. So they were 9 of 10 at one point. And it really felt like, oh God, here comes that fourth quarter that we saw in game 1, where the Warriors start settling for shots. They can't get looks. The Celtics lock in defensively, and everything just starts to unravel. But the Warriors stood firm, and they ended up winning this game by 10 points, and it wasn't really that close by the end. The Celtics had 5 points in the quarter till just a few minutes left. It was an incredible performance, not just from Wiggins, really the whole team defensively, but Wiggins deserves a ton of the credit here. He was phenomenal. I can't say enough positive things about him. On the Celtics side of the ball, like I said, Jason Tatum had 27, 10, and 4, and he was really good for the first 3 quarters. It was just in the fourth quarter, he just started to turn the ball over, was making bad decisions. I'm personally of the opinion that he's playing hurt. It looks like that shoulder is bothering him. That's not an excuse. That is not the reason why he settled for bad shots or anything like that. But it does look like he's playing hurt, which could explain some of the reasons why he's been shooting so poorly over the course of these finals. Jaylen Brown had only 18 points, 9 rebounds, and 4 assists. After being so good over the course of these finals, he was just a bit quieter. Marcus Smart had 23 and 2. He was pretty solid tonight with some good defensive plays as well. And then just nothing from the bench. Derek White, 1 point, 3 points from Peyton Pritchard, or Grant Williams, no points from Peyton Pritchard. Luke Cornett made a 3 in the 1 garbage time minute he played. That was it. So 7 total bench points. Aaron Nesmith also hit a 3, forgot about that. 10 total bench points, but 6 of those coming in garbage time. You're not going to win with only 4 bench points, especially when a couple of your starters really struggle to score the ball efficiently. It's just not going to work. The Celtics, they've got to bounce back in a big way in Game 6 in Boston. It's going to be a crazy one. I'm really excited to see the way that they bounce back, how they counter. It did kind of feel like maybe they overcommitted a bit to Curry. They overreacted to the game that he had because, sure, that was an incredible performance and you do need to guard him better. But you were doing pretty well over the course of this series. You we're tied 2-2, and even going into that game, if it weren't for like a couple mistakes down the line, down the stretch, which the Celtics have become pretty prone to as a younger team, you could be up 3-1. So your strategy's working pretty well. It felt like maybe they just kind of over-adjusted, they panicked a little bit, and I don't know if that was just me, but that kind of seemed to be the way that they were playing. It felt like they were really overcommitting to Curry at times while letting other guys cook them. Maybe that's just me, but let me know what you thought about this game in the comment section below. Let me know who you think deserves Finals MVP. It's still Steph Curry, but small part of me, actually very big part of me, would love to see Andrew Wiggins win it, and I think it would be hilarious if they gave it to someone other than Curry again. But it still is Curry. Don't get it twisted. Curry's been incredible over the course of this series, even if he had one kind of stinker of a game, which is another big thing. You had a game where Steph Curry did not hit a three, and you lost. It's not a good sign for the Boston Celtics. I'm excited to see the way Game 6 goes. I'm going to try and once again give you all a recap. It won't be in my usual setup. That's just going to be the way it's going to be for the next few videos that you see on this channel. While I'm out of town, I'm going to be looking for apartments in New York. If you didn't know, moving to New York up in August, so I'm excited about that. But with all that being said, those are my thoughts on this game and on the finals so far. Let me know who you've got winning Game 6 in the comment section below. If you made it to this point in the video, drop a Wiggins for Finals MVP in the comment section below to let me know you made it to the end. But for right now, please leave a like and subscribe if you did enjoy. I appreciate y'all watching, and I'll see y'all later. Real one, say it back.